This is AnnaHelle, and
Steph Infection.
we're coming to you for another episode of Ghoul Talk exclusively on HPUSA TV. This episode of Ghoul Talk, we are talking about gorgeous ghouls of the 90s film. Specific, yes. Brilliant topic, also yes.
My favorite decade as well.
The 90s were definitely a whole mood. I mean, we're looking at the late 90s here. We have Scream, which is an absolute paramount. It was iconic. It remains so.
Oh, I absolutely. I think we can use iconic for Scream.
Iconic approved. This is the lineup of ghouls. We have Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, Drew Barrymore, and Rose McGowan.
It starts off with Drew Barrymore, who we love from E.T. She is, and she's like that girl next door, cute, still, sexy. I think she's wearing like a sweater.
It's like a fun white sweater, and she's got blonde bangs and a bob, and she's making Jiffy Pop on the stove because there weren't microwaves yet in 1996.
I remember like seeing this movie too, and I loved, like, I kind of like connected myself with like some of these girls. Like, I was younger at the time, but I remember thinking like, this could happen.
Then we have Neve Campbell, of course, who is she's like the main character. She's Sydney, right?
Yeah. Which I love Neve Campbell. She has this like, I don't know, she's kind of like an average girl, but then she's like classically beautiful.
Yeah, she would be really approachable. She's super cute. You know, she'd be your good friend.
Yeah.
Girl next door.
But she has big boobs, and I felt like she would kind of cover them up, like she has this like great figure and like big boobs. And
well, I think the thing in this movie too wasn't low cut, but rather snug the boobs in a sweater, because everybody at some point is wearing one of those turtleneck rib, really tight sweaters, right? Remember,
like long sleeve with just like the tight, and then it would like, yeah, yep.
And we have Courtney Cox, she's the reporter, and they made her a little bit more blonde for this movie.
Oh, definitely. I loved her in this because I was always like a huge like Friends. I remember seeing her in this, and I was like, oh, she was like the older, but like gorgeous. She was a bitch.
She's driven. Yeah. She's a reporter. She's trying to figure this all out. And finally, we have Rose McGowan.
Which I've told you before, I'm not a fan of hers. I loved her getting killed in the garage door because she's an idiot.
What a way to die. Who would you give your top ghoul rating in Scream? Who's your top ghoul?
Courtney Cox.
Okay.
Only because she ends up like saving the day in Scream 1 and Scream 2, actually. I think I just loved her so much. And she was a badass bitch and ends up kind of saving the day, so it was kind of like she gets my gold star.
Your ghoul of approval.
My ghoul of approval.
Or we'll think of something even cornier. I can't wait.
Ghoul star.
Drink to that, ghoul star. Next, we have The Craft, 1996.
Favorite movie.
This movie was the jam.
This movie is a personal favorite of mine.
We have Fairuza Balk, Robin Tooney, Neve Campbell again, and Rachel True.
Mm-hmm.
Neve Campbell was such a staple at this time. You have Party of Five, and Scream was such a huge success, and The Craft was a huge success. Like, it was a success, and then it had the cult following later on. And now, if you ask anybody, oh, I love that movie, like from all kinds of walks of life, The
Craft is one that I feel like is probably everyone's favorite overall. And it's one that people will still watch to this day, hands down. Like, when it comes to Scream, I'm like, oh, I don't need to watch that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or
yeah, we've been talking about this. A mark of a great movie is rewatchability.
Mhm.
I heart it. Much hearts. And this movie's fantastic too, because Fairuza Balk is just so delightfully chaotic. Nancy has got to be everybody's favorite, you know?
Oh, yeah. She looks like the girl next door, but you know something's up with her.
They just found a way to maintain their own power. They did kind of mess it up a bit, so let that be a lesson. Who is your top ghoul from The Craft?
So I feel like everyone would go with Fairuza, but I feel like Robin Tooney would be mine, just because even though she pissed me off like halfway through that movie when she was all scared with Fairuza and everything, she made me feel like, okay, you can take this. You're strong. You're a strong woman. She gets my ghoul stamp. Yeah.
She has a really great kind of redemption and realization, and it's all about believing in yourself.
And I love it at the end where they're like, she probably doesn't have her, and Nev and they're like, she probably doesn't have her powers, and she quickly conjures a storm.
Next up on our gorgeous ghouls, we have Sarah Michelle Gellar and Jennifer Love Hewitt in I Know What You Did Last Summer, 1997.
One of my favorites, yes.
What was up with the three names?
I don't know.
Well, Sarah Michelle Gellar in this movie was like homecoming queen, head cheerleader and whatnot. And then Jennifer Love Hewitt was like an art nerd, or like, what even was she?
Yeah, she was more of like the quiet and geeky,
like mousy. A lot of belly shirts.
Yep.
A lot of belly shirts.
Caps.
This movie too had more low cut than Scream.
I mean, I love Jennifer Love Hewitt in the 90s. Like Jennifer Love Hewitt and Sarah Michelle Gellar were the it girls. But you have that, and then just peeking in on our hunky boys, just because we're talking about Sarah Michelle Gellar. She met Freddie Prinze.
Oh.
So when we see a hunky boy and a horror hottie come together, and we are, of preteen into like teenage, and we fall in love with both of them separately, and then we find out that they actually get married and have babies.
And they stay together, and it's just beautiful. We have The Faculty from 1998, personal favorite, Robert Rodriguez film. I love / still love this movie. If it's on, I will tune into it. It's got Josh Hartnett in it.
Always.
I love Josh Hartnett, and he's also another like teen horror staple in the late 90s. And in this one, because it does have rather an extensive cast, so I did break our ghouls down to the students and the teachers. For the students, we have Jordana Brewster, who is like the cheerleader. Clea Duvall, who is Stokely. She was my favorite character, and she's like the goth, like edgy, like artsy girl. Before we even go on in this list, top ghoul. I'm done here.
Stokely gets it.
And then finally we have Laura Harris, who is the new student. She's blonde, looks girl next door.
Feed in your eyeball and turn.
She's too good to be true, and there's probably a reason for that.
I didn't like her.
This isn't a spoiler. She's a fucking alien queen. You're not supposed to like her.
Oh yeah, she looks like a sweet pea, and she's like a southern little, belle.
She's cute. That's nice. Cool. Moving on. But then you have the teachers.
Oh.
And we have Selma Hayek.
Oh.
And she plays the nurse, and thus she's conservative, little like nice little hair bun. It doesn't even look like she has any makeup on, but it's like, hold up, Robert Rodriguez. We have seen From Dusk Till Dawn. We know what we're working with here, and you're not fooling us. And even in that little nurse coat, she's still like the hottest person in any room. Stop. Secondly, for the teachers, we have Bebe Newworth. She's a principal.
She looks like a Broadway dancer. She is sexy in that kind of like I have power kind of sense.
Hell,
you know?
yeah. We have Famke Janssen. So she's the teacher that starts out like mousy, and she's in like glasses and, you know, the sweater. And it's like as if this nonsense could like cover up how gorgeous this woman is. And then once she's infected by the alien, she's in a red like camisole. Her hair's darker all of a sudden. Like,
She was my favorite. There's something about like a transformed woman in any movie that just gets me. Like if you're meek and quiet and you become like, you just come out and you're like sexy, and I don't know, there's
you get this catalyst and all of a sudden you're uninhibited. Stokely is my top ghoul before we even started this segment of the show.
I know, which I love her in this. I went towards, Famke Janssen.
Lastly, let's round out this list with Halloween H2O 20 years later, 1998. I believe this marked our triumphant return of Laurie Strode, aka Jamie Lee Curtis.
Which I feel like we're wrapping it up at the end with like somebody who brought it in my beginning, and in the beginning of slashers with Halloween,
like Scream Queens.
Scream Queen.
I think we could do a whole other episode to Jamie Lee Curtis. So she is a like a headmistress of a private school, and her son is Josh Hartnett again. Our main ghouls are Michelle Williams, who is the girlfriend, and then Jodie Lynn O'Keefe, who's one of their friends.
Yeah. In this movie, obviously with Jamie Lee Curtis, she's just like, she doesn't have a classic look, but I feel like she has a classic look to us. So we grew up, we saw her as a teenager screaming, and we fell in love with her.
I always liked Michelle Williams for that girl next door quality.
She has a girl next door look, but with a unique face. Michelle Williams is so beautiful. Like I said, she has that she has very soft features, but they are uniquely like beautiful.
Jodie Lynn O'Keefe is their friend.
Yeah, so she was in She's All That, and she played Taylor. She was like the bitch, and I loved her in that. She always plays the bitch. She wasn't a favorite. So if I had to give my ghoul stamp, I guess I would have to say Jamie Lee Curtis, right?
Always. Well, this has been another fantastic episode of Ghoul Talk.
Hashtag Ghoul Talk.
Hashtag Ghoul Talk. But also, if you're having a lot of fun, don't forget to join the HPUSA TV horror music and movies group on Facebook. We'll link to everything down here. Other fun things you need to see, jump into the links. Don't forget to subscribe, because we're just getting started with this bananas routine.
Like actually hit that subscribe button.
So thank you so much for watching Ghoul Talk, and we'll see y'all on the next episode. Thank you, Hellions. We'll see you soon.
Bye, Scream Hearts.